Okay, so video 2 of my series on this boat thing. So what I was talking about before is pretty much resilience and knowing your worth. But one thing I really wanted to touch on was the fact, when you see other boats, actually the first thing I want to touch on is comparisons. So while you're in your vessel and you're going through the seas and stuff, what you don't see is the bottom half of the boat that's in the water. So think of that as you only see the good part of the boat, because anything that has holes in it, anything that's slimy, got grub on it, anything that hasn't been maintained, if people only look after, it's kind of like when people only look after, they get their hair done, they get their nails done, they get a fake tan on, they're chronically dieting month and year after year, they're doing competition after competition, and all you see is their highlight reel, which is so going over the water, but you're not seeing how much is rotting or cracking or rusting away at the bottom of the boat that's in the water, because the water is covering it all. So the more that you try and compare your vessel to any other vessel that's around you, or the speed that they're going, or how amazing they look, or just comparing yourself to them, it's like the worst thing you can do, because comparison is the thief of joy. And the more that you compare yourself to other people, the less you're swimming your own race, the less you're boating your own race, because you're too busy watching the speed of what other people are doing. You're not looking after your own boat. So if you're too busy paying attention to what all the other sailors and boat drivers and all those other people are doing, you're not it's like all of your energy and attention is going into them, instead of putting it into being a better sailor for yourself, learning more tricks of the trade, learning how to forge the resilience. You're not even double checking to see if your boat's doing okay at the bottom. You're not doing all the routine checks you need to do, because you're too busy trying to catch us to the other people or keep up with them, that you could easily not, you don't even know where they came from. What if they've come from a longer distance of travel, so they've traveled more seas than you, so they have more expertise, more experience. You don't know any of that stuff. You only see what they present to you on the exterior and what's above the waterline. That is all you see. So they could have been traveling for years and years, and in that they've gathered, or they've been looking after their boat so well, and they've been polishing it, they've been nourishing it, they've developed the skills they need to be resilient. You don't know any of that stuff. So you could be seeing someone who looks amazing on the exterior that you can see, but is rotting at the bottom. Or you could be seeing someone who's been running the long race and has been in the trenches, been in the seas for a longer period of time. There's two different ways that you could be putting yourself down by comparing yourself to two completely different situations, and not just focusing on yourself and swimming your own race. Instead of putting all of that energy, feeling down on yourself, pretty much just letting your own boat rot away, while you're letting all of that shit happen, you're missing out on life. You're missing out on actually becoming a better version of yourself. And if you can put all of that energy, all of those resources into becoming the best sailor of your ship that you can be, nourishing yourself, investing in yourself, touching up your boat, replacing it with better friggin' wood, putting an external coat on it that will make it last longer, all of these different things that you could be doing to your body, which is the boat. It's amazing what you can actually do when you put in all your resources into becoming the best version of yourself and swimming your own race. Think about it. Just think about that. Comparison is the biggest thief of joy. You don't want to be swimming someone else's race, because what if you're so caught up in watching someone else and trying to catch up to them that you realize only 3 years later that that's not the path you want to go down? What if that's what you realize, and then you're just like, I just wasted 3 years of my life? Except it's not wasting, because you never waste your life. You live, you learn, you go through what you grow through. But if you're not already developed with the personal development, the self-worth, all that other stuff along the way, you would see that as wasted time. You would feel so, like, you would demoralize yourself. You will feel so shit about letting it happen to yourself. But if you have come through the trenches and you learn along the way, and you do still foster yourself amongst trying to chase someone else, at least you can stand apart from it and realize that that's why you are where you're at now. And you've gathered a shitload of tools along the way to make you better handle the next journey. Like, instead of saying, fuck, I fucked up, say, okay, what's next? Where do I want to go? Who is this person that I want to be? I made a post not that long ago about life being like a pyramid. You can't alter anyone. You can't change anyone. You can't expect someone to understand you or to get someone to validate you when it's not what they would do, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you can't change someone's perception or perspective of life, of anything, because their nature, their nurture, the way they grew up, they have reasons behind why they see things a certain way. So the more that you try and the more that you try and chase someone's validation, someone's acceptance, the more you're changing yourself to mold yourself to someone else, and it might in the end be someone you don't even want to be, and the other person might actually turn out to be someone that you don't like at all. So you've not only lost yourself in the process, but you've lost them. So you need to keep focused on your journey, your vessel, know your self-worth, and stop chasing other people's validation. You don't need to be anyone but yourself. You don't need to make anyone else happy but yourself. Because once you can feel confident in your skin, know your self-worth, the more resilient you will be, the more you will attract what you deserve, the more that everything in life will just flow with you. You don't have to keep fighting battles day after day anymore, because everything is in alliance with what you want from life. The more that you chase things, the more that you're attracting things that aren't in your lane, and the more that you'll be chasing things in life because you're not in your lane. You're just chasing other people. And until you sit still in that and kind of just... This is why at the start of the year, I went through a whole process with my girls saying, who is it you want to be? What is your identity that you want to be? What is it that you want to do every day? Like, what does your ideal day look like? What does your ideal week look like? How do you want to feel when you wake up? How do you want to feel around your kids, in the gym, when you get changed, when you try on clothes, when you're at work? How do you want to feel when you're accomplishing tasks? How do you want to feel when you go to bed at night? By forming this person in your mind and visualizing them and getting your identity clear cut on who you want to be and how you want to feel, and then breaking that down, because we all want to feel empowered in some way or another. But empowered how? What meaning do you give to empowered? Confident? Empowered to not let anyone shake you? To be so strong and rooted into your beliefs that everything you do is in alliance with who you want to be? Like, if you are so strong rooted in your values, your beliefs, and who you want to be, your focus is going to be so laser beam strong that nothing, like, purpose, passion comes from chasing your purpose. Your purpose comes from doing everything in alliance with who you want to be, and that is something you need to remember. Keep the focus. Everyone has their own journeys up to that place. You might come across roadblocks, have to backtrack a little, keep going, but your journey is your own. You can't force other people to take the journey with you, and you can't allow other people to drag you along on their journey, because like Harry Potter in that wood that had random little whatever the hell's pulling him down into the ground or whatever the hell it was, you're gonna fight demons in a road that's not your own to travel. And that's the exact same with the boats. You might not be well equipped to travel their seas. You'll face harder seas than they will, because all the seas that they're facing, they've traveled the distance and they got the tools ready for it. Every challenge you face, it's because you're ready for it. Well, you're not ready for it, but it grows you. It's one step at a time, because you'll find that the challenges that you used to face, the things you used to struggle through, the things that used to tear you apart, you can now freaking dance over like stepping stones. At one point, those were big mountains in the way. And now they're stepping stones because you've elevated yourself. And so too, in a year or 2 years' time, your troubles now will be the stepping stones to you back, like in the future. So everything that you go through, and every single freaking hardship is put in your way to grow. Like, it's put there to teach you. And if you can learn to take it as that and change your perspective of it in a way that it's going to actually boost your future and take you closer to the person you want to be, you are in your own lane, and your journey will have less torment, less waves, less everything. That is just like fighting a war. So I hope that helps.